So much for tuning in to Call the Cops. My name is Officer Jamie Keneally. As always, big show in store. And I don't know if you know it, you should know it, or you're about to know it, but the month of April is Autism Awareness Month. So as you can well imagine, tonight's show is about making you aware of autism. We've got a couple of great guests in studio tonight. Michelle Maffeo, seen there to the right of your screen, Deputy Nora Baston, and just a quick stat off the top. I didn't know this, and it's kind of interesting, but 1 in 88 kids in America today diagnosed with autism. And given those numbers, you know, police officers are seeing more and more kids, obviously, with autism. We're trying to provide services the best way we can, and tonight we're talking to Michelle and Nora about what we're doing. Makes sense, I hope. Makes sense. If you saw last week's show, and you probably already know, we talked about police officer Kenny Shaw, and this is just a sad story. Kenny was a police officer who passed away after contracting hepatitis C on the job. His family never received death benefits. It's been 13 years since he passed away. Again, if you saw the show, we had Mara and Stephanie on the show. So again, there's a bill in place. Please call your state rep, senator, get the bill passed for Kenny Shaw. That's a wrong that needs to be righted. Geez, one of our guests tonight knows an awful lot about tweeting, and this past week, I believe you were at this training, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Tweets from the beat, I believe they're called, and it's all about the department again. You know, enhanced communication, reaching out to community members, letting folks know that hey, we're here to help you out in any way we can communicate to you is a good thing. Again, Deputy Baston, she was at this training, and I believe she was misbehaving, but that's another story for another day. Here's what Elaine Driscoll has to say about the importance of the training today.
Well, basically, this new program is designed to promote community policing as well as utilizing our social media network, and we're going to essentially have command staff tweeting from the beat.
Even still. Yeah, you tweeted you're on tonight's show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Telling you, man, Baston's got it going on.
And that's the first time I saw Elaine actually show her face.
I know.
I had the woman behind the camera.
It wasn't easy getting her on, I'll tell you. Hey, how cool is the Field of Dreams football tournament? You guys know about this,
absolutely.
Right? It's all about raising money for juvenile diabetes. It's coming up May 19th, so if you want to get involved, May 19th is the day to sign up. All right, he's been around for a long time. 42 years, in fact. You know John Daly?
Yes.
He's the new #1, or our department's newest #1. He's got the badge, I should say, that bears the #1. And that badge is given to the longest-serving police officer on our department. That's him. 42 years he's been on. But a great little ceremony at BBDHQ. His wife here stabbed him pretty good when she tried to put his badge on. But congrats to John Daly. It's a nice little thing, a nice little tribute. So kudos to Numero uno, John Daly. All right, back to Field of Dreams. One thing I wanted to mention. First 2 years, they've raised over $70,000. Wow. This year, they're hoping to go over $100,000. So, website, Boston Field of Dreams at yahoo.com. So, Boston Field of Dreams at yahoo.com if you want to play or if you want to donate something. So, again, great cause. All right, here's our boy, Bobby V. He's our boy. Why is he our boy? Because he took the time to stop by District D4 in the South End. I've never seen any coach of any pro team do that. Nobody said, hey, you got to do it. He did it on his own. And now 16 games into the season, people want him to go. Wow. We say,
we'll keep him.
We say hell no. Wow. Let the man do his job. No, this was huge.
That was great.
You know,
that was great.
And he had our back, and so of course we want people to know that since he had our back, we got his. He had some nice things to say about the BPD. Bobby, talk to us.
You know, safety is one of the things that we all feel great about by living in this country and being in this great city of Boston, knowing that people, men and women, put their lives on the line to make us safe, to make us feel good when we wake up in the morning is a special thing, and I just was hoping to make the guys feel a little special today, and gals. Well, because I understand it's thankless many times, you know, that 4 in the morning it gets real late. Those 6 o'clock in the morning wake-up calls get real early, and you know, it's a day in, day out grind that a lot of people have to do, and they're doing it for others. So, you know, I'm here to say thank you.
Say, leave the guy alone. All right. Tonight, though, we're talking about autism. April is Autism Awareness Month, so it only makes sense that Michelle Maffeo and Nora Baston would be in the house. You're looking at footage taken, when was this?
September of 2011.
September of 2011. This is one of the many outreach programs that you guys are involved in. It's all about signing kids up for Operation North Star. So if you could, just kind of as we're showing the video, what's going on here? What are you guys doing in a given outreach session?
Well, right here we actually we ran a community day.
David, just keep the vids rolling. Good. The vids.
We ran a community day and we brought in additional resources throughout the city, and we asked the families to come out and sign up their loved one that would have autism or a cognitive development disability. Yep. That would.
Nora looked like she was working really hard this particular day.
She was.
She get the pen out, the paper,
right,
dropping to a knee, making stuff happen.
Right.
But I mean, so this is all about families who have a kid with autism, and it's a chance to sign their kid up to the program so that in the event the kid goes missing, we've got the information we need to help find the kid, right?
And one thing about this in this video, it's like making the families feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And as you can see at the atmosphere, to make the families feel comfortable around the police and the kids to be around the police. And that's why that filling out application with them is really important.
Small thing, but a huge thing, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I was just looking at the video, just watching you guys work. I mean, Michelle, obviously you're close to this issue because your son.
My son, Maddie.
Maddie has autism.
Yep.
But what's some of the feedback, or maybe the better question, how important is this program for families who have kids with autism?
I think it's huge. It's a stressful time for families, especially to call 911. If they have to, say my son or daughter has wandered off. By the way, he has autism. He has no safety skills. He can't communicate with you. In a number of other different, scenarios that could be said. So, just to give information to the police department to almost have a heads up. We already have a snapshot of your son or daughter. We already have it. So we're just going to go out. We're going to start looking. We're going to do what we got to do. We have our, our updated photos, and we'll go, we'll get out there and start. Of course, we go to the house as well and all that good stuff, but we're already out there. We hope to already know him or her.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's the stress of a kid wandering off or going missing is unbelievable. It's just as tough as it gets.
Absolutely.
But now you get a kid with autism who may or may not have trouble communicating or what have you. So a family member doesn't have to call 911 and repeat all this information time and time again. With this program, there's a little, I don't know, a little resume there or a little,
it's
book of information.
It's basically a snapshot of the individual. It tells us everything, that the family wants to offer us.
And one of the things that's important that it can be any hour, and as every incident report is also in that. So for the police officers having a response at 3 in the morning or whatever time is it, every single 1-1 is captured there, so they can go back and read every single incident report of any incident of the child wandering off. And
so you get a history of the kid and what he's been up to.
It's all attached right to their.
That's huge for patrol procedures. That's really good for the officers on the street.
Unbelievably helpful, to say the least, right?
Definitely. It helps if they've wandered to specific areas in the past. We ask those questions, but it would say how the officers might have dealt with it in the past. What they might have done that could either better assist this situation or steer away from.
I want to touch on that because, I mean, in addition to coming up with a program, Operation North Star, that's one huge step, and I want to get into that a little bit more, but you've taken it a step further. I know there's some talk of mandatory training, but it's ultimately you want to help the officer in the field that, hey, listen, when you're dealing with somebody who has autism, there's a right way and a wrong way to approach it. And we'll get into some of that stuff in a second. But what has been some of the feedback from parents as a result of the program? It's almost a year, right?
It's almost a year. It'll be a year in July.
So, so far so good? What do you think?
I mean, we came from a meeting of one of our first meetings at Boys and Girls Club, and just the reaction that the awareness level on our officers, the mother knew that her son always would be in confrontation and fight. So just to know that we were aware that her kid was autistic, that was one cloud lifted off her head, that she was just like, that the police are more aware of who her son is. And that was unbelievable. She said she's never seen it before.
Because there've been instances, and maybe you can get into a couple, where, I mean, an officer showing up isn't aware of the fact that the kid has autism, and there are behavioral or atypical behaviors that an officer might misperceive or mistake as disrespect, kid not paying attention, I'm talking to you, and they got no idea what they're walking into.
Exactly. I mean, like the training that we, you know, that we're trying to finish up. We talk about you don't want to use slang words. You got to very literal. You know, these kids.
And what do you mean by that? Be very literal, like
literal.
Yeah. But what is, like,
just say what you want.
Okay.
You know, you want to act as if you want that individual to act. You know, body language isn't going to do anything for you. So, you know, just.
I need you to listen to me.
I need you, like, what is your name?
Okay.
You know, and then you might have to repeat things, you know, a couple of times. They may not be verbal. They're most likely, they might not create eye contact with you. And that's something that, as officers, we command. You know, we usually command our eye contact, you know. And if you're not creating eye contact with us, oh, you're guilty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
you're not looking at
you know,
me.
we just,
You're disrespecting me, and wow, it couldn't be more.
So we just try to
truth.
teach different traits that go along with autism. And there's nothing specific for each, you know, for anybody with autism. They're all their own individuals as it is, but there's some, you know, there's some traits that go along with it.
Like,
so.
what are a couple?
Behavioral traits. There could be atypical behaviors like stemming, you know, it's like a repetitive behavior, or, you know, flapping of the hands, or rocking back and forth. And a lot,
and the eye contact.
The eye contact, lack of eye contact. There could be sensory issues
like the
that
sirens
just
coming in.
Yeah,
you
just
know,
turning
to put the
them
sirens
off.
off.
That's another big. It's like little stuff that's huge.
Just a heads up for an officer, just by even arriving to the scene and turning off your lights and sirens, like before, could possibly de-escalate the situation. Right. So I mean, just having a bit of a heads up, you could de-escalate.
Some of the reports I was
there.
looking at, the people wrote, my kid likes to hide, you know, behind the bed. So if we go to the call and we know that, that's something that we wouldn't, you know, the kid's hiding from us, we're going to think we're calling them out. And these are older kids, as you see the numbers, 1 in 88. That means these kids are not the little kid, the 3-year-old. That's what we always think of with a little kid. These kids are.
But if you know that going in, like you said, you have the heads up notice that the kid at this address, like you said, hides under the bed. Instead of you thinking you're in a situation where I got a kid in the room, he's not coming out. What's going on? And wow, I mean that's. Instead of escalating, you're de-escalating and realizing what you got. Another big part is the families. They're telling us the calming measures. You know, what is something that calms, you know, their loved one? You know, would it be, you know, talking about the Red Sox? Would it be like, okay, I want to talk about, you know, trains, planets. My son loves the planets. We just left the Angry Birds. Now we're on the planets, but he loves them. Awesome.
So I mean, that's something that we want the officers to know, because they can calm them down just by saying something to do with that.
But you're the contact. You're the conduit. When you do the outreach, you sit down with the parents and you're asking them, like, you know, as we see in the video, giving high fives and collecting. But this is the information that you're collecting. Hey, who's your child? What are his tendencies? Does he have a tendency to water off? What kind of things does he respond to, not respond to? This is where it all begins in an outreach session like this.
Yep, or an individual session as well. I mean, they can call, email, whatever. We try to make it most convenient for the families. We'll go to houses, you know, at night. We'll go to schools.
And then we ended up going to a number of houses. And sometimes Officer Maffeo has to come back, and she knows the level of patience working with these families. We've come back numerous times, or the kid doesn't want to take the picture then. But we don't ever make the families think that they're bothering us. And the phone calls come, not always at that point, but the phone call is happening more often. Can you come to my house? And you know, they didn't want to ask about it right there, but it's a night. Like I said, I give it to Michelle Maffeo's, you know, how she really cares about the program.
Well, we got to give you kudos because, I mean, again, the fact that your son has it, I mean, how that makes you uniquely qualified to handle this, to take on this task, no?
I guess.
No, but do you feel like
absolutely.
It's kind of like your mission in a way that
I do.
You know,
I do feel that way. Yeah.
Because you know it.
I do.
You know what these parents are going through. You understand the stresses.
Exactly.
And we have a number of officers when we have volunteers that have been coming out from other districts now. So when we have an autism day or a sign-up day, we have officers from District 4.
They'll come out and they'll join us, and you know, they're aware. You know, their children may have autism or an ASD, and they want to come out and help too.
Awesome.
Because they know. So they're great.
But officers want to be the best they can be.
They do.
You don't want to go to a situation, and I was looking through some of the literature. I mean, there have been some tragic stories.
Absolutely.
You know, where mistakes have been made and signals have been crossed, and again, what an officer thought he was seeing.
Not here, thank goodness.
Not here, thank God.
Yeah.
And hopefully, as a result of this training, you know,
that's
not
why
here.
at this department, having this program, we're being preventive.
Oh,
because we're not waiting for that to happen or mandated.
Yep.
A lot of other states and places, and we just have that awareness, and I give it to our commissioner and the chief and the mayor to make this a priority and know the importance.
Are we one of the first to have this kind of training?
For autism training?
Yeah.
There is autism training available.
I know
but
we have
think,
the best.
Yeah.
Well, you do.
Given tonight's guest, but I mean, you know, the idea.
The idea
this
of the
is your
way
idea.
we're hoping to implement it.
Yep.
I think we're close to being, you know, one of the first with the the online,
Yep.
hopefully mandatory
training is in the works, and hopefully
Yeah.
there will be an announcement to be made about that soon. How'd you come up with the idea?
How did, well, I guess after my son Maddie was diagnosed, you know, I was on the computer, you know, 24/7, and I just saw how, you know, the wandering and, you know, the repetitiveness of the behaviors and just how it really actually related to, like, it seems always that the police are responding to this. Are they going to misinterpret the behaviors? Are they going to this or this? So, and just, you know, talking to other advocates, really, and different people, an organization called ALEC, after speaking to them and finding out the different trainings and stuff that were offered, I just really, you know, of course, went to Deputy Baston and say, this is, you know, I hope this can happen. Can you help me, and what can we do? And, you know.
What did she say? Didn't she say that's crazy? You
Hey,
can't.
no way.
No, but I mean, talking about the benefit and the importance of having a deputy superintendent who gets it though. I mean, and you know this. I mean, you know, the person in charge loves having talented people who come up with great ideas. You know, when you first heard the idea for Operation North Star, I mean, what was your kind of reaction?
I mean, I got the support right away once I brought it to the commissioner and the chief and the superintendent. They couldn't believe a better response once again for our officers, and you know, and to make another person safe in the city. It wasn't even a question.
I mean, that's what it is.
You need to get
it's providing better services and making one more person that much safer. And I can't imagine making parents, you know, feel that much, just a sense of, I don't know, you know, ease or whatever it is. But
it was one of those programs you think, like, why didn't we think of this before?
Absolutely.
Also, you know, so it was, like I said, other cities, you know, next to us are asking about it. Other families that aren't from Boston.
Yeah, I can imagine you're going to be traveling around the country a lot pretty soon. But July 2011, we're eight months approximately later. You surprised by how far it's come? Or how far has it come might be a better question.
Right now we have about 60 families enrolled, maybe a little more.
We'll say 70.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
we'll go
we'll bump
80.
it up to 70.
But well, I think it's going well because we're trying to make it very personal for the families. And I mean, we're going into, when the schools asked us to go in and present, we'll go into and we'll present. If families just want us to go into the house, we'll go into the house. So we're trying to just take it on, you know.
And you know,
I love that aspect of the fact that
not rushing it, because when we have
calls.
the information, we also make sure the district. We have made binders with pictures, so each district has their personal number of people that signed up. So District 13 has, here's the number of 10 people. So we're not just throwing it, we're making sure it's done correctly and making sure the officers are aware.
So the officer in the district, if he wants to find out, you know, learn some more about the people in his district, he's got a source of information. He can open it up. He'll get a picture.
A picture,
which is
as well as
huge.
the name, you know, and you know, maybe, you know, what the diagnosis and calming techniques are. You know, are they supposed to be, you know, are they a wanderer? So just little tidbits of information. It's not the full profile of that person, but it's, you know, something that they can just be aware of if they're out walking and they see somebody, you know, that would be in the program. You know, should they stop? And of course,
Feedback from officers, I imagine, is pretty good.
The captains is even, when we go out and just tell them about it, they're right away, the support from the captains.
Let's do it. Let's jump on it.
Yeah, I've noticed, you know, I'll have to call different districts and ask if somebody who speaks a different language could come out with me, you know, and they've just jumped on it and absolutely, you know, and we've sat there a couple of times for, you know, a couple of hours because really just to explain the program, and they've been great. So the offices have been. I
imagine you've had a lot of best days, because again, you're doing a lot of great work. Has there been one day or one story or one instance in particular that kind of stands out where you say to yourself, I'm glad I came up with this idea?
Well, I would think one of the,
maybe all of them for all.
but
I don't want to try
at the
to.
Lee Academy, which was one of the, it's a school that they have a lot of autistic kids. We reached out to the Lee Academy, and Officer Maffeo has been there a number of times, and it was like a whole day. They had food, you know, the kids were really enjoying it, and we had it multiple times. All the teachers were there, a number of teachers, and we just really had a good turnout. From there, it's grown. From there, just, cause like I said, we're just basically like selling the product, like out and going to each, each area and ourselves, and kind of going to community meetings and letting people know what we're all about. And I think it's been growing. It's been definitely growing.
Word traveling fast. I mean, has anybody? I mean, again, feedback has been, I imagine, pretty positive.
It's been good. We've had the supports of, the schools and, different resource teachers, that might have, deal with autism classrooms have been calling us out, and I haven't reached out to them before, so it's traveling.
And even officers calling, so that's a huge sign when districts are calling, and, saying, I have this, actually offering the program to people and saying, we have this program out there. That's how you know it's working when the officers.
Well, it's funny. Just the day I saw you guys up and Dave, feel free to roll the vids. The day I see you up here, I saw a couple of parents, and I got a 2.5-year-old at home, and my God, my energy level's gone. And we're fortunate as heck that no major issues with him, but some of the folks who came in, you could see. I mean, a kid with autism is giving some folks a run for their money because you can't. I remember
there's not a lot of downtime.
Yeah, I remember there was one kid in particular. He was an older kid, and the parent was like chasing that kid around. And it was an eye opener for me, and I'm like, my God, man, this ain't easy. And anything you can do to help folks who are dealing with those strains and stresses, it's a great idea already, Michelle. But that day when I saw you guys up there, and I'm looking at some of these people coming in, I'm like, they couldn't be more grateful. They must be like, thank you for doing this. Thank you for being in the position to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes us love doing it, for real. Like the feeling that you get with see the satisfaction out of the parents and knowing what it makes them feel. Like I said, she knows it more on a personal level, but that's why I love being part of this program. Absolutely.
You're doing something this Friday.
Yeah.
You'll be appearing at the Tynan School in Poughkeepsie. but Tynan School, what's going to happen?
They actually they're having an Autism Awareness Day, and they called me out to come out and to speak to the parents. They're having their parents come in. Their children go there, so I'll go out and speak to the parents, let them know about the program, and just offer it. And if they want to do it, they can do it. If they don't, we'll be there if they want to do it in a couple of years, a couple of months. So.
You'll be around.
And one thing I noticed that the schools love, or even meetings, even when we come out, because a lot of times they said their kids really don't see the police officers only when they're called. So just having us around, even around the kids with autism also, because to get them used to seeing us.
I love that aspect of it.
Being around, so.
To the parents who might be on the fence about wanting to sign up on the program, what would you say to them to kind of get them to realize that, hey, this is a good thing?
It's just there to help. It's just there to aid. There's nothing else to it. I mean, the information isn't going anywhere. It's only if needed. Hope it's never needed.
Right.
So it's just, we want to keep updated pictures and, updated information. Just if we have to, come out and respond to your son and daughter, we just want to do it in the best way we can.
And does I would think it would provide some level of peace of mind and comfort.
I hope it does. I hope it does. So.
All right, how do we get information? I know bpdnews.com.
That's it.
And we click on the resource link. And that's how you find out about Operation North Star. I always said Michelle Maffeo. Michelle Maffeo, Nora Baston. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. I love this program. Folks, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's show. A lot of great information. Again, Operation North Star. Go to bpdnews.com. Click on the resource link for more information. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. Good night, everybody.